Hello, everybody, and welcome into the newest episode of the Missing Piece podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening in, and we got a really great episode for you guys today. We're going to preview Game 1 of the Pacers and Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals tonight. We're going to look ahead into this series and what the Pacers need to do to win. And then we're going to look ahead to the Indy 500. The starting grid has come out, including some penalties for Team Penske. We'll get into that when we get into it. And then you got the Pacers Game 3 and the 500 in the same day. So we got a really busy weekend in Indy coming up here, this weekend for Memorial Day. So, without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead and kick things off. So, for the Pacers, they are coming off of beating the Cleveland Cavaliers 4-1. They beat Cleveland in Cleveland 3 times. Yep, 3 times, which is remarkable. Like, the Pacers were one of the only teams that have done it I probably think they were the only team that had beaten Cleveland in Cleveland multiple times. So, that was a very impressive series. I think every ESPN analyst picked Cleveland to win. So, it just shows you how much this Pacers team is really good. But they got a really challenging test against the Knicks, who they beat last year in the playoffs. But this is a different Knicks team than what they were last year. And we'll get into that here. So, I think if you're the Pacers, you're going to be probably starting your starting 5 that you've been starting the whole playoffs. In Halliburton, Nembhard, Nesmith, Siakam, and Turner. And then New York is probably going to start the starting 5 that they've been starting this whole playoff. So that would be Bronson, Hart, Bridges, Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns. The Knicks, up to this point, they beat the Pistons in the first round. Detroit I would look at what the Pistons did, because the Detroit Pistons gave the Knicks a lot of trouble in the first round. Ultimately, the Knicks won that series 4-2, but Detroit gave them a scare, including a game in Detroit that the Pistons probably should have won because Hart fouled Tim Hardaway Jr. Down by a point with only 1 second, and that would have been 3 shots, and Hardaway probably would have made all of them. So, but I digress. The Knicks won that series 4-2, and then their second round series against Boston, they won that series 4-2 as well. I think they were kind of helped by the unfortunate injury to Jason Tatum. The Knicks this postseason have been really good on the road. They've only lost 1 road game, and that was to Boston, Game 5. But I believe other than that, they beat the Celtics in Boston twice. And then they beat the Pistons in Detroit. I want to say twice as well. Yeah, they won Game 1. They lost Game 2. They beat Detroit Games 3 and 4. And then they lost Game 5 at home and beat them in Game 6. Yeah. So, the Knicks have been really good on the road. So, if you're the Pacers, man, this is going to be a really good Knicks team that has won some road games. So specific matchups I would watch out for. The first one I would watch out for is they're probably going to line up Aaron Nesmith against Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson won the clutchest player of the year in the NBA, and there's good reason for it. He's really good. So I think the Pacers are going to match up their best defender in Aaron Nesmith against him. And Aaron Nesmith is no stranger to guarding Brunson. Last year in the playoffs, it was Aaron Nesmith that guarded Brunson and actually had some success against Brunson. And I think during the regular season, he repeated that success out of the 3 times they played the Knicks. So Aaron Nesmith is very used to guarding Jalen Brunson. He's going to have to do it again and have to do it at a really good rate if they're going to beat the Knicks. Some other matchups I would look at. Mikal Bridges has been amazing for the Knicks this postseason. Mikal Bridges during the regular season for the Knicks he was okay, But I think Mikal Bridges has really proven that he was worth those 5 first-round picks that the Knicks spent to get him in this postseason, because he's just been amazing. So I would probably put your second best defender in Andrew Nembhard on Mikal Bridges to slow him down a little bit. The third one I would watch is probably going to be Siakam versus OG Anunoby. They were old teammates in Toronto. But I think that'll be an interesting matchup to watch, because like I mentioned, they were old teammates and now they're going to be facing off against each other. You're probably going to hide Halliburton on Josh Hart during these playoff games, so hopefully Halliburton can at least do some good guarding Josh Hart. And then the big one is going to be Miles Turner versus Karl Anthony Towns. And if you guys haven't figured out that Karl Anthony Towns just rips the Pacers a new butthole every time we play him, I'm going to pull up the stats that he has against the Pacers. So, during his time in New York this year, he has had 21 points, 15 rebounds in the first game. So he had a double-double. Actually, he might have had a triple-double. No, he didn't. But he had 21 points, 15 rebounds. The second game against the Pacers, he had 30 points and 9 rebounds. And then in the last game we played Karl Anthony Towns, he had 40 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists. So that 40 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists cannot happen. Because if you let Karl Anthony Towns go off like that, you're not going to beat the Knicks. In his career, the lowest points he's had against the Pacers was 12. But that was like in 2015 towards his rookie year. Since then, it's been like 24, 33, 37, 28, 18, and 17, 42, 28, 37, 30, my bad, 32, 232s, a 15, a 23, and a 40. He makes it a habit of ripping the Pacers a new butthole every time we play Karl Anthony Towns. So, I don't know what we're going to do. You cannot let him go for 40 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's not good. If you let him do that, you're not beating the Knicks. So you're going to have to limit him in points, which means if you're Miles Turner, you're going to have to get him off the 3-point line because he can shoot the 3. So if you got to get Karl Anthony Towns off of the 3-point line, and you got to keep him off the offensive glass. I know the Pacers really struggled against the Cavaliers, letting them get offensive rebounds in games 1 through 3. You cannot let the Knicks get offensive rebounds. You got to box out, and you got to get those if the Knicks miss a shot, that's a gift. You got to get that rebound and go on the offense and set the pace. Here's the other step that you need to know for this. In these playoffs, Mikal Bridges has averaged 40 minutes a game. Tom Thibodeau plays his starters for around that time, around 40 minutes a game. That is a lot of time that those starters are out on the floor. So if you're the Pacers, you really got to set your tone early and make those Knicks starters tired towards going into the fourth. Because if you can make them tired, I think they're going to get gassed towards the fourth because they've played so much, and they've had to play a lot throughout these playoffs, and now you're getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. If you can get them tired, man, that's going to wear on them, and they're gonna be a little sluggish going towards the end there. So you got to keep up with New York. You got to make them tired going into the fourth quarter. That's the game plan for the Pacers. Another thing is the Pacers bench needs to step up because, again, if you're the Pacers bench, you're probably going to be playing those Knicks starters a lot. Because like I mentioned, Tibbs plays his starters on average for like 40 minutes a game. think the only, like, couple of bench players that the Knicks had that they've actually put in the rotation just to give their starters a little bit of rest has been Miles Deuce McBride, that's going to be one that if you're Benedict Mathurin or TJ McConnell, you're going to have to pay attention to him because he's a really good three-point shooter. So you're going to have to get Deuce McBride off of the three-point line. Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson's an interesting one. He was not available last year for the Pacers series. He was hurt. So this year, Mitchell Robinson's a really good backup defensive center. So Mitchell Robinson is not going to shoot threes, but what he's going to do is he's going to get in that paint, he's going to play defense, and he's going to get rebounds. One thing that you should note, it might be worth it to foul Mitchell Robinson and send him to the free throw line, because on average this postseason he shot like 57% from the free throw line. So it might be worth it just to foul Mitchell Robinson at that point, but those are probably the only ones that I can actually think of that the Knicks actually play to give Bronson and Cat a rest is Deuce McBride and Mitchell Robinson. Like I said, Tibbs plays his starters a lot, so you gotta wear him down. So I think this should be a really good series. I know the rivalry has been there since the Reggie Miller days. They beat him out last year, so this will be another chapter of that rivalry. So hopefully the Pacers can win this one too, like they did the 25 years ago when the Pacers and Knicks last played each other in the Eastern Conference Finals. It was 25 years ago, and the Pacers won that series and went on to the finals and lost to the Lakers. So, man, if the Pacers, if you can get to the finals, man, I think Oklahoma City would be a tough task, but man, that would be fun. If they can get to the finals. I think that's enough for the Pacers series. Hopefully, I'll find some time for you guys this weekend so we can talk about it more. But we're going to get into the 500 starting grid. So, for the 500, a surprise pole position winner in Robert Schwartzman, the rookie coming out of Prima Racing. So, that's going to be a really good, that's a really surprising one. On a 4-lap average, he went 232.79 miles per hour. It'd be interesting to see if Schwartzman can win it this year. With him on the front row, you got Takuma Sato, who's already won it twice, in second from Rahal Letterman. And then you got Pato Award in the third position. Pato came in second last year. He's come in second a couple of times, so Pato's come very close to winning it. He's racing with McLaren. On row 2, you got Scott Dixon, from Ganassi. Dixon's won it already once. So look out for Scott Dixon. In 5th, you got Felix Rosenquist, from Meyer Shank Racing. And then you got Alex Pillow rounding out row 2 in 6th. Alex Pillow has had an amazing year so far. He won the first race in Florida, and he won Alabama as well. So, sorry guys, Cindy's coming in. So, look out for Alex Pillow, in this race. In row 3, you have David Malekis from AJ Foyt. Hey Cindy. You got Christian Lundgaard in 8th. And then you got another former Indy 500 winner in Marcus Ericsson starting out in 9th. And then row 4, you got the first Penske driver in Scott McLaughlin. You're going to see other Penske drivers towards the end because Penske got penalized for cheating, especially with last year's car with Newgarden. So, hi Cindy. Sorry guys, she wants love. So Scott McLaughlin with Penske is starting out 10th. Connor Daly, who's from Noblesville, I'll be cheering for Connor. He's starting out 11th with Junico's Hollinger Racing. Alexander Rossi is 12th. He's with Ed Carpenter Racing this year. He was with McLaren last year. that went over to Ed Carpenter. In row 5, you got Kiffin Simpson from Ganassi Racing. And then 14th, you got Ed Carpenter, who's also from Indiana. So, and then 15th, you got Santonio Ferrucci from AJ Foyt Racing, who's wearing the number 14. So, in row 6, you got Devlin DeFrancesco from Rahal Letterman Racing. In 17th, you got Stingray Robb from Hollinger Racing. And then in 18th, you got Christian Rasmussen from Ed Carpenter Racing. And then row 7, you got Kyle Larson, who's also doing NASCAR this year, running for McLaren. In 20th, you got Louis Foster from Rahal Letterman. And then 21st, you got Cam Ilott from Prima Racing. Sorry, guys, I couldn't get that out. In 22nd, you got a 4-time winner in Elio Castroneves looking to go for number 5 this year for Meyer Shank Racing. In 23rd, you got Kyle Kirkwood from Andretti. Yeah. And then in 24th, you got Nolan Seigel from McLaren. Hi, sweetie. And then in 25th, you got another former 500 winner in Ryan Hunter-Ray. You got Jack Harvey in 26th. And then in 27th, you got Colton Herta, who crashed in his qualifying. Row 10, you got Graham Rahal from Rahal Letterman Racing. In 29th, you got Marco Andretti. And then in 30th, you got Marcus Armstrong, who's, I believe, also a rookie this year. And then row 11, you got Rinus VeeKay. And then you have the 2 Penske drivers, Newgarden, who's won it twice in a row, and Will Power, who's also won it. So Newgarden and Power were the 2 that were penalized, moving back to the starting grid. So they're going to start in last and next to last. So good on them to punish Penske drivers, especially Newgarden, who got caught cheating in last year's race. So yeah, that is your starting grid for this year for the 500. Like I said before, Palou has a really good chance of winning it. The rookie starting out first, you got a really experienced one in Takuma Sato in second. So, Takuma Sato is a very aggressive driver too, and has won it twice already. So, that'll be interesting to see what happens there. But, I think that's it, Cindy. Cindy, did you want to say anything? No? Okay. Alright, guys. I think that's it for us today. I'm going to go love on Cindy. So, hopefully the Pacers win tonight, or at least come back home tied at 1. And I will catch you guys later on this week. Thank you so much.